That is absolutely correct.
Will we decide the percentage in this motion or when the job is complete?
This motion.
You can do it in this motion now if you want. And so it just all depends how you feel. Traditionally, the board has gone with 50% across the board. So if you change it now, obviously that's gonna draw an ire and questions as to why am I different? So you'll have to justify it.
But even then, if we said 50%, it still could not be more than 70.
Yeah.
That is correct.
And this is
No more
the
than 50.
signage.
So it's best to say 7,500.
Well,
Max.
if, no, if 50% was less, we couldn't say 7,500.
Correct, sir.
But it's not going to be.
And again, it's to not complicate things better.
We're gonna do the
Just
50, we're just,
50%.
you're gonna do the 50% match not to exceed 7,500.
Yeah, I so move.
I mean, we call it any way you want, it's
I second
50%.
it.
We have a motion by Danny, a second by Sherry, all those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, to match the 50%,
Opposed?
not to exceed.
Motion
7,500.
passes.
Motion by Danny and who?
Sherry?
Me.
Okay, second Sherry.
And there's a,
Ms. Castillo?
there should be another page on here, so it's a last page and you put all those numbers in there.
Yes, that's correct.
I don't know where it's at, so we can sign it or fill it out. Is it in there?
Oh, no, that's on my desk, I've got it there. That is with the resolution as well.
Yeah.
That's where I'll fill that
Yeah,
last
just-
page out.
Yeah, okay.
Now, mind you now,
We need to
everything
take
that I
action on the
do,
resolution.
excuse me?
Do we need to take action on that resolution?
No, not until we cut the check. So in other words, we had another particular entity recently apply, and it had already been passed in the minutes. So now it's ready to go. So all I need to do is fill out that particular document, and I don't even need to bring it back to you,
Okay.
because the minutes support that. Okay, and I got clearance again from our city attorney to make sure that was kosher to do. Okay? Yeah.
So
All
that's,
bases
so
are covered on
so
it.
that's what'll happen on this sheet? Since this is the
Yes,
new
sir.
year, you'll put the, now this will just drop down from 30,000.
Yeah, we'll have to
7,500.
adjust it as I go with.
And so that way
with
we know when
finance.
we're, as like more people come, oh, we know we have, 22,000 left, and that was the
That's a good idea.
the reasoning behind this. So we
Yeah,
have-
so you can see your running balance.
Yeah, running balance of what we
Good
have
idea.
left, because if we get there and we only have, then we say, okay, we're gonna do it, we have to amend it, and where do we find it in the
Okay.
budget and do stuff like that. So the idea was, you had a, like, this can be moved over, you have your starting balances and
Yeah,
your
okay, I'll
running
make a
total.
note of that.
And if that, we don't have to be looking through stuff and it's just a little cheat sheet for us.
I was going to be meeting with Ms. Moreno today on the financial.
If
We've had
you
already
wanna,
one
if you
meeting.
call me during the
She was
lunchtime,
out. Mhm.
I mean, I can change my lunch a little bit and I can.
Okay, sounds good, but that's just basically just
Yeah.
take me to tell her, initiate that particular item
Yeah.
of what we need to do to make it more efficient for us.
But that's exactly why we have that one page thing that Fred was, we spent a few months trying to figure that out to get it done.
Very well, moving on to item number 10,
Okay,
discussion of possible action item, FEDC, Floresville Holiday Extravaganza participation in the amount of $300.
okay. That was a letter in which I received from the FEDC, to the FEDC, from Mr. Ches Perez, facility manager. After reviewing it, one of the most efficient ways of helping the community understand that we're in support of different functions is to participate in it ourselves. I understood that the city did it. So I think that we should be doing that as we're partnering with the chamber on different things. And these are all components of the city. And even so more now that you've got a new ED on board that's going to be a little bit more aggressive in that particular area, that we need to be able to convey to the public that these kind of activities and these type of events need to be supported wholeheartedly by our different entities that exist in our city, so that we can bring economic development people. I have some people from the Texas Economic Development Foundation. I'll invite others that can see what we're doing with our event center, see how we're utilizing our tax dollars. And so I think it's a win-win, and for a minimal amount of $300 investment, I think considering what we spend sometimes on our newspaper ads with the Wilson County News, other things, as I was reviewing some of the costs that we're out there spending on marketing, some of their mandatory publications we gotta make. But we've let out, or we've given out money. So this, I think, is a drop in the bucket for the possible, just interrelation that we're gonna have with these type of activities throughout the year.
So that's for a table, or what is it?
That, it will be for a table, exactly.
For how many?
I think
And you'll
it's ten
fill-
to table.
And
There's
You're
10 to
gonna fill it with
Turner.
potential customers, or?
Yes, I'm gonna be inviting some people from EDC to come over. And possibly, I would like to invite the Lighthouse for the Blind. We met a lady, and I'll explain later to you, at the Bear County Expo. They had shared, and I won't get past myself, but they had shared some info with me that they may have an idea of maybe coming over here. So looking for a possible place.
How
to
many
be there.
tables did the city buy?
10 as well, they bought one.
One table.
One table, and we're at one table.
Okay.
And
10
so.
tickets.
10 tickets, yeah.
And you're gonna get people to come in, not from us.
What about board members?
Well, I mean, it's gonna be a combination of people, it won't be just, I'm gonna try to mix it up.
Yeah.
I'll just put the word out there and wherever
Give it to
RSVPs.
the people that might not be there,
Mhm.
couldn't be there, couldn't buy.
Yeah. So what I'll do is we'll reach out to as many people as we can. Obviously, I don't think the whole board can go because you gotta be careful about the Open Meetings Act.
Yeah.
There's so many of them throughout the year. You have the Consulata and the Volunteer
Yeah.
Fire Department, the Education Foundation, the Cowboy Breakfast and everything.
But I think it also would be more useful to us, I guess, and better taken by the citizens, some other than us.
Yeah, I like the way you said invite some other people in. because they
Maybe
get-
some business
show-
owners.
Show the event center off, and then, like, if you go in, the hospital, you're showing off all the hospital testers. so.
Absolutely, and then
I'm sure you can
also,
get names from the city here, you know.
Or
those-
just other
Yeah.
business owners.
like I was just gonna tell you, some of the business owners, I met them during the Christmas lighting deal and also through the past judging contest we did. So, pick out some of these owners from the business community, because we're wanting to focus on downtown
Find some
revitalization.
owners that also the
Exactly.
vacant buildings and.
Isn't this next weekend?
This will be next week,
It's
so I've got,
Saturday.
I've got a lot on my plate to do, and I'll just have to get it done.
And then-
I'll get it done, just.
I'll make a motion that
Duran would be
we,
a
And
good
it goes
one.
without
What's that?
saying that
Mr.
this,
Duran?
Okay.
He's come before?
Yeah, Mr. Duran might be a,
Can't come?
I don't.
well,
think
no,
so.
I don't think it'd be, because we're
No.
still in
Yeah,
negotiations.
It's a conflict.
So it would be a
of
conflict, it'd
interest. Yeah,
possibly a
and
conflict.
they can't come anyway.
Yeah, it would
The-
be construed
I just
as
say
we're buying his involvement,
Sonny,
yeah.
but
Even though we're not.
it goes without saying, this is within the purview of FEDC to provide or.
Yes, as long as we can add in that EDC component by inviting them business members.
Ben already made the motion, I second it.
Okay.
A motion by Ben, second by Sherry, all those in favor?
Fred's,
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 11, presentation updates, Mr. Aaron Farmer. Aaron's not going to be with us, but Representative Davis will be, with retail coach. You have the floor, sir, introduce yourself.
Thank you.
You need for me to get out of here.
No, I should be fine.
Okay.
Let me just move this way.
You want me to do a little introduction, or you, well, I thought it was Mr. Friday here. I'm sorry, go right ahead.
This one I can. My name's Kyle Kofer. Y'all have heard Aaron Farmer speak. I think he was here, I think in July, his last presentation. I serve as his project manager. So, like I said, thank y'all for having me tonight. A little, information on the retail coach. We, basically we're a retail consulting firm. And we're working with Floresville to help recruit retailers, restaurants, and developers as well. So a little bit about our process. We call this our Retail 360 plan, and kind of phase one is analyzing the market. We believe in boots on the ground approach, and we want to know your community as well as your local real estate agent. I'll tell you now, I was preparing for this presentation. I've been managing this project, and looking at Floresville from Google Maps doesn't give you the best representation of the community of the city. So I got here this afternoon and actually being able to drive around and look at available sites, and kind of you get to see a different story of what the city has to tell. Determining retail opportunities is phase two. It's kind of like I said, I was driving around today and identifying sites for us to use, which Aaron has done in the past as well. identifying development and redevelopment opportunities. So maybe that area right there by Pizza Hut, I believe, it's not serving its highest and best use. What could that be? What type of retailer, what type of restaurant might look at that space based on the acreage, access, visibility, and so forth. Phase 4, identifying retailers and developers for recruitment. So based on Floresville, the numbers we get based on our reports, what retailers and restaurants fit. Kind of in 2018, retailers and restaurants have a scientific approach that a community has to check off before they will locate. So Floresville will have to check off 8 to 10 boxes before they will consider locating in the city. And that kind of varies based on the retailer or restaurant. I kind of have configured that scientific approach. Phase 5 is marketing and branding. So the reports, demographics, retail trade area demographics, psychographics. So a detailed list set of reports that ultimately we help use to market the community to these retailers and restaurants. And phase 6 is actually the recruitment process. So when we're going out and we're making phone calls, sending emails, getting in front of these developers, these brokers, and saying, hey, we feel like this concept will fit well in Floresville. So that's that phase 6 recruitment of retailers and restaurants. And then phase 7 is kind of the coaching and ongoing support. I like to say that we kind of do that throughout all phases. We like to have communication bi-weekly with our contact in the community. So we did what's called a cell phone analysis. It's kind of taken the place of radials and drive times. They're kind of a thing of the past. So with this cell phone analysis, we were actually able to go in and draw a polygon around HEB and Walmart. So this actually tracks cell phone usage a calendar year, so 365 days back. So if I was within that polygon that I drew, so HEB as well as the parking lot, we like to say if you're in the parking lot, you're more than likely shopping there. So if you're within that polygon and have opted in for your location to be viewed, and you open an app, send an email, a text message, we're actually able to track where you spend your time from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. So you'll see here these dots. So that represents a household basically. So this is really telling you how far your consumer is traveling from surrounding areas to come and shop in Floresville. So like I said, this is really what these retailers and restaurants in 2018 are wanting to look at, and not those radials and drive times. So based on this information, we actually go in and draw our own retail trade area based on this cell phone analysis. One thing I want to step back here, and you'll see at the bottom right the number of visits. So we like to consider a primary retail trade area your repeat customer, somebody who's coming multiple times, is usually 3 to 4 visits. And that's how we configure that primary trade area. And a secondary trade area would probably be in the 1 to 2 visit range, somebody who's coming but is not a regular customer. So this is what we configured for that retail trade area, your primary. So you can see how far people are traveling based on this area. And this is the area that we use to run our reports in. This is what we market to retailers and restaurants during our recruitment. So you'll see here, this is what we call a retail market profile, an RMP. It's kind of a one-page flyer that sums up all the basic demographics that these retailers and restaurants would want to see. So you'll see that retail trade area 2018 estimate is just above 56. So with us doing this for 19 years, you know, that 50,000 range is kind of that threshold for your next set of retail and restaurants. Not what we would consider your low-hanging fruit, kind of that next step. So that also helps us realize what type of concepts and who we want to reach out to. Something else that plays a large role is the incomes. So you'll see the average household is right at 93. So that's for that whole trade area, not just the community. So that's very good incomes. And so when we're wanting to, like I said, figure out who we're going to recruit, these are the type of things that we're taking into consideration. Retailer feasibility packages. So when we're doing recruitment, we actually have retailer-specific branded packages that we send out with their specific category highlighted, letting them know, hey, this is the type of things we want you to look at. We want to make it as easy as we can for them to see the community in the best light, you might say. So our recruitment process, this is really what we pride ourselves on. We've been doing this about 19 years. We've built a lot of good relationships to where if we want to get in touch with somebody from Arby's, we know exactly who to pick up, we know who to call. So we kind of first reach out with that first email. We'll say, hey, this is a community we're working with. Are you familiar with them? Take a look. And then in the next, we'll kind of go in and we'll send that RMP, that retail market profile that I highlighted with that retail trade area demographics on it. And then we'll follow up with a personal call. So if somebody isn't replying, we'll give them that personal call. Because some of these retailers and restaurants, they kind of do things differently. Somebody may be a little more old school where they don't want to sit there and answer 10, 15 emails a day. They want you to pick up a phone and call them. So we'll do that. So it kind of just is a cycle. And we'll even do handwritten notes. Caroline Hernsberger, our retail recruitment coordinator, she kind of brought that in. She's been with us probably going on 5 years now, and she started doing that on her own. So we figured out that if we can't get a response from somebody, that really stands out and helps. So it's kind of like a chain of events. It doesn't always go in this order, but these are the type things that we're hitting on in this recruitment process. And the in-office visits up top. If she wants to go visit a few concepts that are based in Austin or based in Atlanta, she'll actually go there and for 2-3 days and have a schedule of who she wants to meet with. She's been discussing a few communities with them, be able to sit down and say, hey, what are you really looking for? What are y'all's expansion plans moving forward in 2019, in 2020? Another thing are retail conferences. I have a slide that I'll hit on here at the end on retail conferences and data updates. So basically, if something happens and makes a big impact in the community and that data changes, if there's a lot of industrial that comes in, a lot of jobs, that as a drastic change to the data, we'll actually reach out and update these retailers and restaurants for our recruitment. So I kind of hit on this a little bit in our Retail 360 process, but identifying development and redevelopment sites and kind of today just driving around a little bit. These are the few sites that, you know, that I feel like will be easy to market on the front end. The Walmart pad site, the Osborne Realty HEB pad, and the Vision Realty site. These are just a few that I saw today when I was driving around taking a few notes that we really want to make an effort moving forward on these sites here that I feel like are kind of those prime sites. And then our reach.
Excuse me, let me interrupt real quick. Do you happen to have, did you prepare any handouts for the board?
No, sir. I just.
Yeah, because they really don't know what's going on without having that. They've just asked me, but that's okay, go ahead.
But
Okay.
you can email them the packet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the old stuff.
I can
I had to
definitely.
go and
So-
retell it.
I'll definitely email you this presentation.
Okay, great.
As well as I have a link to all the reports. It's one link and it's
Okay.
it's
Because that
always
one,
access.
one number's wrong, the office number is 534 for some reason.
Yeah, and if you
540.
can, just in the future, provide them with some handouts so
Okay.
they'll know what you're talking about.
Okay. So
They
this
can do
is
their pre-homework before.
this is our retail dashboard. So basically, you can just access this wherever. It's good to implement on the website. A lot of retailers and restaurants will actually visit your website without you even knowing. So it's good to have all these reports, as well as interactive maps, available, for them to see. And this is just another picture of an interactive map. So, retail conferences, that's a big thing for us is actually being in the same place with these retailers and restaurants and being face to face with them. This is a picture of our booth in ICSC Recon in Las Vegas. It's the largest retail real estate conference in the U.S. But we also recommend that looking for or moving forward that somebody maybe considers coming to some of these conferences. We've got ICSC Red River States coming up in Fort Worth, 9th through the 11th. Just to put it on your radar, that we will actually be we will represent Floresville there. But it's also always good to have a face there and actually be able to see, all right, this is what they're doing for us while they're out there. So you can actually get to see what's going on and get to meet some of these contacts that we're in touch with on a daily basis. So that's kind of my base presentation that I've prepared tonight. So I appreciate y'all letting me come and speak.
Any questions from
Any questions from
anybody?
anybody?
So at what step or is the city of Floresville at, or the ECA?
Yeah, where we, y'all sent emails, packets, where we?
Or are you talking about in the recruitment process?
Yes.
You know, so we've sent out emails, packets, and we're right in that phone call phase.
Okay.
And I will say we have gotten some positive feedback from a number of concepts. And that's kind of our next step is that phone call process moving forward and really pinning down these concepts on what areas they're looking for, what are their expansion plans, and what do they need.
Do we know who those calls were made to, or is that?
Yeah, when
information to us?
do you share that with Johnny? Like
Yes.
as far as the director?
Exactly. We'll schedule a time to get on a phone call with him or even a screen share where we can really go through in depth with everything and go through what we consider that retailer match list of, all right, here's who fits. What do you think about this list? Would you like to add any? Would you like to take any off? So that'll be a conversation we have very soon.
Yeah. Is there a tool or a process where we can evaluate what good you've done since you've been here and the progress that can be attributed to your being?
Yes, so, my boss is actually the project director on this project, and we've worked with Floresville a number of years. So he has that information laid out, on here's what's happened in this process of our, agreement. So,
Where you can pinpoint that.
You're bringing this
progress,
business.
yes, and
Can you give that to, Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes,
Maybe from the
yeah.
first go around, because the first go around, I think we did it for about a year, and then, of course, it was a changeover, and they canceled the second year of the contract, whereas we want to make sure this time
yeah.
where we're at
So,
and get some solid.
yes, I'll make a note of that right now, is for us to get kind of a timeline on what's been going on and who we talked to. I will mention that just right off the top of my head that I know before I got here was, yeah, we were in touch with Walmart. We were in touch with, Whataburger. So those are just two right off the top of my head. But Aaron, my project director, we can get with him and I
All
can
in the
get,
past.
yes, a full timeline.
Any more questions for Colin?
If I may interject, this is not new to me. I attended the economic development class years ago in Texas A&M, and one of the things that I can suggest to you that would be helpful, and we'll work together on this in partnership, when you're dealing with elected boards and when you're dealing with governing boards, local governing boards, one of the things that they like to hear is not specifically to the statistics. They want to see the results. They want to see exactly what projects are actually going to be coming in that are going to be relevant to what we're trying to achieve as an economic development corporation. The statistics, you can go over them all day long, and you're going to beat them over the head with it. You're going to bore them to death, because the statistics is something that you can deal with me on. Those are important to know, but one of the things that I have not heard from or even seen in the plan is any type of impact analysis that it may have on some of the businesses that you're considering bringing to us. You have to look at what kind of impact analysis on the demographics we have here, impact analysis as to economically feasibly how it's going to operate with us, the abatement programs that we may be looking at attracting some of these incentive programs that we're going to be offering. Those are all the elements necessary for us to get a more comprehensive picture of how you're going to help us for what we're paying you for.
Right.
Because we're paying you right now, from what I can see, $10,000 upon the execution of the agreement is $20,000. Now, you've been hired as of the 7/18 of 18, and then prior to that, you've been with us how long? And I'm not trying to be, tough on you. This is business for us. And this is what they hired me for. They hired me to be aggressive, to be informative, and to be factual. To provide them with the facts necessary to execute their prerogatives and their decisions on the board. So what I'm a take charge person. And if you can tell, I just like to move very quickly on things. But at the same time, I want to make sure that the board is getting their money's worth from you. And I haven't seen, and I don't know if the board feels the same, anything in my opinion that shows that we've gotten a return for our investment.
That's the reason I'm asking the question.
And I kind of read through the lines. And so basically what I'd like for you to do, and I had asked your company before you came, when I corresponded with Mr. Farmer, I said, can you please provide me with a synopsis of your activities to date? Tell me what you have done. And then he mentioned the Whataburger. He mentioned the Walmart. But again, what is phone calls going to do for us? We need to come back with concrete information. Okay, Mr. Rodriguez and the board of directors of the FEDC, I've got this deal completed. We've got this potential offer on the table. We'd like to bring it to you. We'd like to discuss with you. Here's the impact analysis of that particular decision that we're making. This is the way it'll affect you negative-wise, and this is the way it's going to affect you positive-wise. So you will be able to make a very competent decision as to what course of action you will be taking for the FEDC. So that's what I'd like to see personally myself.
Okay.
And we'll work on it together. Let's try to develop some type of correspondence. a lot of the things that you're doing, I probably can do myself for them. I would like to be at that particular function over in Fort Worth, to represent the city directly and be there present for them, because that's what I did before. I would set up these type of presentations and stuff for the organizations that I was involved with. And I would interact with the people that were there to be able to recruit businesses. And so I'd like to see if we can possibly continue our relationship. But at this